I'm Mikey Scott. Thank you for coming to my intervention. For those of you who might recognize me, I was the slutty Julia Roberts on Halloween. By that, I mean I took the actual outfit she wore to be slutty and made it sluttier. It was pretty bad. It was one of those moments I wanted to take a picture and send it to my mother and be like, do you really think it's still a phase? Really? I mean, I had boots onto here. I think the skirt came down to here. I think it was as far down as I could get it. Because we went through that for a very long time. That I was gonna be straight one day. Like, this was just a phase. Like, it was so frustrating. So just all, like, the phase was gonna end one day. There was one time I wanted to call my mom in the morning and say, Mom, last night I had sex with a man. And I had to pause Memoirs of a Geisha to do it. Do you really think it's just a phase? Acting, thinking I could come out here and be an actor and a serious actor, that was just a phase. My mom was actually very supportive of me. And when I moved out, she was scared and she was, Michael, a lot of people out there are gonna offer you opportunity, but they're gonna expect a little something in return, Michael. They're gonna expect sex. Don't you trade them sex. I said, Mom, I will be so careful. So I've been in this town about 10 years. I would trade sex for a Zone 5 parking permit. I don't know if my mom knew that I was gay when I was growing up. I knew she didn't want me to be. She thought that I was funny. I don't know if she wanted me to be, you know, funny. That was her term for it. Like, oh, your sister's friend is so nice, but I think he's a little funny. And that you had to do the wrist when you did it. I know it was obvious to some people. When you come out, you know, you get the questions like, when did you know? Oh, when did you know you were gay? And so I told my sister, and she goes, oh, let me tell you when I knew. I told that story to my brother, and he goes, oh my God, like when you gave me the Footloose soundtrack for my birthday. I still don't get that. What's wrong with that? I knew I didn't want to be. I knew I was. I knew I was from the moment that we illegally taped Porky's. Have you all ever seen Porky's? Porky's was the first movie that showed penis. It was, yeah, right? It was amazing. And they showed, for straight people, they showed boobs too. It was like American Idol, fun for the whole family. But I was obsessed. There was a scene, and I was in love with Tommy Turner. And there was a scene where Tommy Turner put his penis into this like shower thing before Miss Ballbreaker, the lesbian gym coach, grabbed it. And it was telling the story, it's a little strange. But there was like a half a second money shot that I would just fast forward and rewind all the time. And I was like, and I knew that was strange. There are other things I didn't know was strange. Like, I had to have Tiger Beat magazine every month. Tiger Beat, if you're not familiar, is so gay. Like, there would be a man right now just finishing sex with another man, and you could hand him a Tiger Beat magazine, and he'd be like, no, that's too gay. But I was obsessed. Like, I would carry it on the bus with me. I thought it was normal. Like, they had like these like New Kids on the Block baseball card things that you could cut out and collect them like baseball cards. And I thought every fourth grader wanted to do that. I thought every fourth grader wanted to be president of the Jordan Knight fan club. I was obsessed. Oh my God, but I knew I couldn't be gay. Like, we went to church, we were Pentecostal. I couldn't be gay, it was not allowed. Pentecostal was crazy. Pentecostal was like Mormonism, but you just sing and dance a lot. My brother's Catholic, and he's raised his family Catholic, and my mom is horrified about it. I was like, we grew up in crazy church. Like, a circuit party has nothing on Assemblies of God. Nothing. At Pentecostal church, they would have a revival every Sunday, it felt like. They couldn't just do a service. They had to save everybody. They would say things like, oh, if you were a sinner, come and be saved. If you have sinned yesterday, come and be saved. And at one point they said, if you are a man and you have lusted after a man in this congregation, come forth and be saved. And I said, oh, shit. Because there was this guy named Rocky who was right in front of me, and he had a bubble butt like you would not believe. And I thought, oh, no. Oh. First of all, I was on the junior Bible quiz team. Like, I could not be gay. I didn't want to piss off my mom. Like, we had a great relationship. She was divorced when I was 10, and we were each other's rocks after that. The master bedroom in my house was basically a junk closet. I'm not saying it was an episode of Hoarders, but it was close. Like, no dead cats or anything, but anything that we found around the house that we just didn't know where it went just ended up in that bedroom. And I wasn't allowed to go in, but I loved going in because it was like a treasure hunt. It was great. And so I went in, the ironing board was there, and at the time I was obsessed with being Frankie Avalon in Beach Blanket Bingo. And I jumped onto that ironing board and I was just going crazy. And my mom walks in, she's a nurse, and she had just come home from the night shift, and she was not happy. You do not piss off a woman who has just gotten off the night shift. Not to mention, I had taken for granted the amount of things you could beat somebody with that were in that room. Have you ever had your ass whooped with a crimping iron? I don't recommend it unless that's what you're into. I was just going through a phase. I even got a girlfriend. We met doing musical theater. In 9 months of dating, all I ever did to her was cup a boob. I don't even know if that's how you cup a boob. Over the shirt, but mind you, not even under a shirt. It was just on top of her. And I didn't even want to. She put it there. I didn't do that. When we made out, my hands would stay at the waist because I respect her temple. They would stay there, and she would do the thing that girls do when you aren't making, the moves fast, and she would slowly, just push the arms up so that it stayed there. I only assume that I was supposed to do something once I got there. Rub something, move it around. I just stayed there. And now looking back, I feel like it was so inconsiderate. Because it is. If I was with a man and his hand, it just stayed there. And how do you say, do something with it? In a nice way. And I had no idea I had no idea how to, I had no idea what to do with her, let alone anything. I had not been physical at all. I hadn't masturbated until after I graduated high school. There were 2 things I never did until I graduated high school: masturbate and drink. And it's the 2 things I do the most now. I am making up for it. I had no clue. I didn't know what it was. I knew that Tommy Turner gave me a special feeling. I didn't know what to do with that feeling. I confessed to my best friend Chuck. We'd start talking about masturbating at the lunch table, and I was like, what's that? I had no clue. They were really concerned that I was unsafe in not letting loose. And they were like, you have to go to jackandworld.com and learn how, and apparently it was a tutorial online. It's a great website if you ever want to, I don't know if it's still there, but there's the basic beginner where it's take yourself to dinner one night and then just put some lotion on. To where it got into the advanced courses where it was hollow out an orange and stick it between the top mattress and the box spring. Not that I ever did that. Because it stings, right? It does. But I learned how to masturbate, and I even got drunk one night with a friend named Jim, and I was so excited after drinking because it was so much fun for me. And I went to Chuck, and I was like, Chuck, guess what I did Friday night? He's like, no way, and he high-fives me. I said, Jim and I did it because his parents were out of town. He's like, oh. I was like, it was so much fun. I totally want to do it again. He goes, with Jim? And I was like, yeah, it was great. You have to come over and do it next time. He's like, no, that's okay, but I'm really glad you masturbated. I was like, oh, no. I mean, I drank. I didn't masturbate with Jim. Why, is that possible? Can I do that? So, I didn't associate it like he did. I learned to be really physical with myself after that. Never learned to be physical with someone else until I met Ray, my coworker at McDonald's. For some reason, that's the part that people laugh at. We were in his apartment, and because he had an apartment. And we were in his apartment, and I was so nervous, and I'm shaking, but I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go. No, I can't. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. No, I can't. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. But he was willing to leave that job to come and be in DC where I was gonna go to college. And I was not gonna let that happen because when I went to college, I was back to being straight. I was gonna leave the gay in Pittsburgh and I was gonna be straight in college. This is what I've learned. For all you people who say you've been cured, you can take the guy away from the gay. You cannot take the gay out of the guy. But I tried. And I went to college, and I did what you're supposed to do to be a straight boy in college. Joined a fraternity. And now we all know a fraternity is like a gay man's wet dream. Like, I had visions in my head of like, you know, naked men in a room, and it was just hot and erotic, and like, my fraternity, I joined the non-hazing fraternity, which I'm like, I want to be hazed. No, we did scavenger hunts. So there was a brother that I connected with, and his name was Joel. And we got drunk, and we hooked up. And we got drunk again, and we hooked up. And then we stopped the drinking before the hooking and just called each other to hook up. Like, and then it was just became a regular thing. And it got to the point he wanted me to be his boyfriend. And I couldn't do it. I was like, no. If I'm a boyfriend, I am no longer straight. I can hook up with you, but the minute I say we're boyfriends, I am a gay person. And I was so overwhelmed by this. I was in DC, so I drove down to the Lincoln Memorial. And I wanted to sit on the steps and think, because I saw this girl do it in a John Cryer movie. It was a great movie. And I thought if she could clear her head doing that, I could clear mine. So I walked up to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and I'm sitting at the top. And I'm like, what are you doing, Mikey? You're supposed to leave the gay in Pittsburgh. You're supposed to come here and be straight. And I looked down all the way at the bottom of the Lincoln Memorial. And there's this couple. And they were adorable. Like, they were the kind of couple that you would block their Facebook posts now. Because they were so cute. Like, they just were, like, having fun and, like, pushing and grabbing and, like, just the cutest thing ever. And I was like, that's how it's supposed to be. Like, it's supposed to be a man and a woman and together and fun, and it looks so natural and so amazing. And I need to be part of something like that. I can't be doing this thing I'm doing with Joel. And I kept thinking, and I looked back at them, and it was two men. And so I thought, I could leave the gay in DC, and then I can just go to Spain. So that's what I did. I moved to Spain to be straight. Who moves to Spain to be straight? Who? Where there's Mallorca and Ibiza and all the, like, no. But when I was there in my study abroad program, I met a friend. His name was George, and he became the first gay role model I ever had. And he dragged me kicking and screaming out of the closet, because he could tell. Who couldn't tell? I've had the same walk since I was 2. If you know me, I walk on my tiptoes. Like, I'm obviously gay. And he just wanted someone to go to the bars with. And I started becoming comfortable. And by comfortable, I mean I did what every gay man does and said I was bisexual. And I told everyone that I read an article about you're a certain percentage gay and a certain percentage straight. I thought, you know what, guys, I think I'm probably like 25% straight. For the entire remainder of the program, my nickname was 25%. My teacher, Mari Carmen, called me 25%. That's all that happened from my trying to be bisexual. But for the first time in my life, I was not going back. I was a gay man, and the next step was to tell everyone. I knew I had to tell my family, I just didn't know how. I knew my brothers, my sister would all be accepting of it. And my brothers and I, one year, went to play pool at a bar. And my brother had just moved in with his girlfriend. And my mom refused to go inside the house because they weren't married yet. We're playing pool, and we're talking about it. I said, that's funny to me. Because if I was living with a girl, she would be in that house in a heartbeat. And he's like, why's that? And I said, because she thinks I'm gay. And he goes, well, are you? I said, yeah. That was it. And my other brother walks forward and he goes, Michael just came out to me and said he was gay. He goes, really? He goes, how? He goes, I asked him. He goes, that's it? And they were so disappointed in the way that I came out. They wanted the emotional, sit you down, guys, I just really need to tell you something. Gay. Instead I said, yeah, I'm gay. And they were so upset. Like, they needed the coming out party. Not me. All my siblings said the same thing. Are you gonna tell your mother? Hell no. But things don't work out the way you think they're going to. While I was in DC, the guy I was dating and I got attacked at a bar. A guy started calling us faggot over and over again. He threw a chair at us and he hit my boyfriend in the eye. And it was a big ordeal. The guy was arrested. Because he was calling us faggot beforehand, the gay and lesbian unit of the police department got involved. I got a phone call at my apartment, and my roommate jotted down the note, because I wasn't there. Gay and lesbian unit, police department, phone number. Call these people back. Sounds great. Grab the note, throw it in my back pocket, and I left to go home to Pittsburgh for the weekend, where my mom does my laundry. And she found it. First, I tried to play it off and say, no, it's just a friend of mine who's gay, and it's not me. And there had been enough speculation that she didn't let it go. And I finally was like, I don't feel like lying anymore. So I told her, I said, I'm gay. And she starts crying, and she was so sad. She says, why are you doing this to me? What happened? What's wrong? And I said, Mom, it's all your fault. Is that what you want to hear? It wasn't really. So my mom and I didn't talk for 3 months. And then 3 months after I came out, she called me because she'd found out that I had planned Christmas over at my sister's. And she goes, I'm shocked that you're not coming home for Christmas. I said, why? We haven't talked in 3 months. And I was flabbergasted. And she goes, but you always come home for Christmas. I was like, but we always talk. I didn't go home for Christmas that year. I wasn't ready and she wasn't ready because that conversation turned into a very big argument. And she was wondering when I would get out of the phase. Yeah, and it had taken me this long to realize it wasn't a phase. But I had to make a decision. I had to decide whether or not I would completely separate myself from someone who I loved, who didn't believe in the way I was, or whether or not I would stick around and try to make her believe. And it takes time, and I think there's this huge misconception when we come out that people are just supposed to be okay with it immediately. Our parents, our friends, everyone are just supposed to be like, oh my God, let me join a parade, because we love a parade. But it takes time, and we had to make some steps. And so the first step was I did start coming home, and we did start calling each other, and it was just something we didn't discuss. Because no one discusses things when they're fresh. Like, parents don't discuss their kids being gay. Kids don't discuss their parents divorcing. None of us will discuss that period in the early 90s where white people thought we could wear flat top haircuts. It doesn't make it any less true. I was gay, my parents were divorced, and I have very awkward 6th grade yearbook pictures. Things really happen, but we don't talk about them. And so that was one step. And then eventually we did discuss it, and I had broken up with someone, and I was devastated. And I called her, and I said, hey, I broke up with my boyfriend. And she goes, well, I can't say I'm upset about it. I don't know what reaction I was expecting. But then she says, well, what happened? And so, okay, we're talking about it. And little by little, she came out to visit. And at first, she wouldn't want to do anything I was a part of. And then one year, my friend threw a barbecue, and she came to the barbecue. And I was so scared. My comedy troupe is the Queers of Comedy. And we had just won an award, and the name was on the award. And they could not wait to show her. And I said, you will put that in the closet until her plane has left. She knows I'm gay, but she does not need to see it on a plaque. She came to the barbecue, and I was prepping my friends. I was like, Teddy, don't tell her about that time that you did makeup for gay porn. And Rob, don't do that thing where you talk like an old Jewish woman. And Corey, just don't. Prepping everybody. Did they listen to me? No, of course not. I am flittering around trying to make everybody happy, and I see her at the table, and Teddy's on this side, and Corey's on this side, and that award is in her hands. And she was okay. And everyone's like, Mikey, how come your mom is so cool and you didn't even tell anybody about it? Your mom is so fun. Why'd you scare everybody about your mom? I was like, you're right. I just didn't realize that at that time, my mom was growing up. And a year later, for the first time, she saw me do a show. And I do a bit about flavored lubricant. And the flavors I like. And the punchline of the joke is, I want ranch dressing lubricant. Okay? You don't need to hear the whole setup. But sometimes you get so in the moment that you just tag your jokes with things. And for the first time ever, my brain concocts, if it can go in a chicken finger, it can go in me. And I'm like, I am trying to put it back in. Teddy is sitting across from my mother pouring that wine. And she loved it. She goes, he's a little raunchy, but it was funny. You know? Eventually, I wasn't even the worst child. It was the one who was Catholic. I wasn't sure if I was still down there or not, but I was at least above somebody. And I fell in love with someone. Fell in love with an Irishman. Because I love an accent. I love accents. English, Irish, heterosexual. I will eat up an accent. She knew how in love I was with this person. She even invited him home for Christmas. So we had gone from where I wasn't sure I was invited home for Christmas to where now I was invited with my boyfriend, which was pretty amazing. That Christmas, I surprised him with tickets to New York. So I bought the tickets in December for a trip in February. In the gay community, we call that optimism. I surprised him with these tickets to New York. 2 weeks later, he surprised me with a new boyfriend. Yeah. Wow. It's okay. I surprised him by calling immigration. So when it happened, it was all I could think about. And when I talked to my mom, it was all I could talk about. Was this person who I just invested in him coming home, and he was leaving me for someone else. And I just didn't know what to do. And she decided to tell me about her relationship with my dad. When I was 10, my dad cheated on my mom and eventually divorced her and went to that woman. And my mom was devastated. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know how to act. The reason the master bedroom was a mess was not because my mom was a bad housekeeper. It was because, and I never knew this until she told me, she didn't know what to do with the room. She created this vision of a life with somebody, of them waking up in that bed together, the Norman Rockwell picture, you know? And it shattered when that happened. And so her easiest way to deal with it was to just make it a closet. She didn't know how to make it her own room as a single mom. So she made it a closet, and everything went in there. A lot of baggage went in there. And over the years, she cleaned it out. It actually is a beautiful room now. She's got all the furniture she's ever wanted. She's got the paintings she's always wanted. And she has the bedroom that she was meant to have for herself. And she told me that it took her that long to deal with it because she was so hurt. So however long it took me to deal with this was okay. And just that she validated my relationship as equal to her own was something I never expected. So, thank you. I knew it was fine now. I knew my mom was completely on board. I knew my mom didn't hate me. I knew my mom wasn't always angry with me, or she wasn't always gonna be angry with me. Turns out my mom was the one who was just going through a phase. Not me. A few months ago, I went to visit my mom. She was folding my laundry, and you know how that makes me nervous. And while she's folding, never expected in a million years I would actually hear my mom offer up this opinion. And she's like, I know you're born gay, and I know it's not something you choose. I know it's just the way you are. But you choose to be Catholic. You guys, thank you so much. This is so much fun.